let's get to it. We're going to talk to Jamie, who's calling in from Texas. Jamie, you're live on Truth Wanted. What's up?
Hi, thanks for taking my call. And goodness me, you guys are quite close. I'm just around the corner on North Lamar, so maybe I'll come and see you all live.
Yeah, dude, come on down. We're real people, I promise. We're not plants by the FBI. Well, actually, Jamie, let me clarify. Kelley might be low key. I can't account for him. He's seen some shit. I don't know.
I was just about to say too. Speak for yourself, Dan. I was just about to say
I'm definitely not. I would never be a Fed. Are you kidding me? No way. I'm good. So anyway, Jamie, what's up?
The evidence as presented is convincing enough for this skeptic, but
that's great.
Point. Over the last 2-3 years, I've found my skepticism and my rising, and my tolerance for misinformation and even superstition lowering, and my position calcifying to the point where I believe that there's no minimum level of superstition or misinformation that's harmless. Like, I see stuff like horoscopes as just the thin end of the wedge that could lead someone down a path to denying that COVID's real or that 9/11 was an inside job. And all I want to know is, I want to calibrate. Am I being a dick?
Yeah. It's a great question. I'll start with this if you don't mind, Kelley, and then I want to hear your take, because we kind of alluded to this earlier in the show. I think this is like one of the most prescient questions the atheist community has to ask itself. Because what are we as a community? What are our goals? What are we trying to do? A lot of people feel differently about this. There are some people that want no religion in the world whatsoever and just want to say, no, forget that shit. We shouldn't have any kinds of churches or whatever. And there are some that are like, well, we can exist, in this world and live in harmony, yada, yada. And some people say, oh, we actually need to adopt the traditions that religions have and adopt these customs and ideas and incorporate it into our lives. So there's a huge spectrum that people think on this, and I don't think that you can have a one single objective answer to this question. I know it sounds like a cop-out, but I really think that people have to be able to answer this for themselves. I can tell you what I think about this. And I grew up the first 20 years of my life as a Christian, okay? And I had some wonderful, amazing, intimate experiences with people because of we were gathering under the name of Jesus. Okay, so I can attest to that and say there were times where it was absolutely great. There was also times that gave me absolutely existential dread for my own existence. There were times where I saw bigotry. There were times where I saw hatred. And there were times I saw ignorance because it was fueled by this text, by the institution that is religion. And so I've seen the harm firsthand of what it can do. But I also know that there were people that grew up that don't have the same experiences as me, that live their life as pretty liberal Christians, do whatever, and like our call with Scotland, just want to be chill with people. And that while I do find that respectable, I don't think that there is a foundational ideology that can really tether yourself to that. In other words, that's only circumstantial by the person and not really what these institutions exist to do, right? Like organizations like Focus on the Family and stuff, I'm not going to say anything that's legally indictable, but they're not within my best interests that they exist. And they exist because there's an ideology that backs them up that says that they should exist and continue to do the things that they do. In the United States here, we talked about this before, Christian nationalism is on the rise. It's a hot topic again. Why? Because the institutions of religion exist. So yeah, it's harmful, it's deadly, and it's a gateway drug to other things. But how do you litigate that on your daily relationships with people? I don't know. I think the best thing you can do is introduce ideas of skepticism and have conversations with people when warranted, and sometimes even break that politeness barrier if you can do it. I had a conversation with a guy, Anthony Magnabosco. I was a young college kid. 30 minutes took my time. That conversation changed my life. It wasn't the only conversation I needed, but it was a stepping stone in the path of getting to where I am today. And so our daily conversations with people are some of the most important forms of activism we can do. Whether you think that all religion should die or that we can coexist with it, we at least need to introduce these ideas and skepticism and possible alternative views. Otherwise, Well, we get shit like the guy who just died trying to raid the FBI for some reason. I mean, that's just what happened this week. We could talk about the whole history of it, but anyway, Jamie, that's my long ass answer. Kelley, you should talk now.
I should.
Yeah.
I like the way you phrased that.
Yeah.
To answer the original question, is there any tolerable level of misinformation or superstition? No. Simple as that. No. I feel you becoming less tolerant. As I've gotten older, I too have become less tolerant. I got more tolerant again a few years later when I realized that me being angry and approaching it from an angry point of view wasn't helping the situation at all. So I've learned to get more tolerant and to control my anger when I'm talking to these people, because it keeps an open dialogue open instead of just yelling at each other, yelling past each other. So I agree with you that there is no tolerable level, and I think we do need to stand up to it, but I think we need to be careful in the way we stand up to it, because we don't want to shun people. We don't want to turn people away. We want to get them to listen to us, right? And I think it's important how we approach it.
I absolutely agree with that. And I try to approach conversations of that nature, ones that are actually good-natured, with an openness and also a willingness to be wrong. I mean, I couldn't call myself a true skeptic if I wasn't willing to be proved wrong with sufficient evidence. Mm-hmm. And I guess I'm going to start, the best way I can think of it is I'm going to have to start treating any kind of superstition or unsubstantiated claims the same way that I treat this fine, cheap, blended Canadian whiskey that I'm currently drinking, knowing it's bad for me, and that is bad for them, but I shouldn't litigate them or tell them, oh no, you can't believe that, you shouldn't believe that, like you're stupid for believing that. Just please be aware that you are believing in something with no substantiation behind it, and be honest about it. At least that much can we agree, and imbibe. And I work for a major cancer charity, so I know exactly how much damage I'm doing to myself, but it's also that experience that has hardened me against people who, oh, COVID's a hoax, oh, no vaccine, anti-vax, and all that kind of stuff. It's caused so much harm.
Right. There's a real harm in the tolerance of ideas that are harmful, right? So, like, I believe on an institutional level, you can't let some of that shit fly. I would never allow the CDC, for example, to say, well, COVID may be real or it may not be real. It's just all kind of depends on you, baby. Like, no, I would say absolutely not. It as an organization has a responsibility to the public to give correct, factual, and up-to-date scientific knowledge on what we know about the virus and what are the best ways to do it. So yeah, like there are certain institutions where absolutely we can't corrupt that. The problem, of course, comes in our daily lives, right? Like, look, my cat died a couple weeks ago, right? And I talked about that in my work group chat, and one of my coworkers was like, "Oh, can I pray for your cat?" Before I was about to put him down. Now, I don't know what she was intending. I don't know if she thought my cat was going to get better just by praying for it. I don't know what she want, but like that, what I took that to mean as this is a nice gesture of somebody saying that they were thinking about me in a time that was sad, right? So, like, do I litigate with her on that? Do I say, hey, actually, your prayers don't work because your God's not real, idiot? No, come on, that's a dick move. Nobody likes that. So, like, it's just gonna harm our movement if we like litigate every single situation that comes up. You kind of have to pick and choose your battles sometimes and really see where the harm is gonna go with some of this stuff, But there's no simple, easy answer as to which box you can put it in sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm. Polite honesty, an open mind, maybe bring the throttle back to 80% and not go absolutely ham on everything. Thank you very much for giving me a mirror to bounce my ideas off in front of however many people are listening and watching.
Yeah,
and
of course, Jamie.
I can't take much more of your time unless there's anything else you want to ask me.
No, I mean, we got one more call I want to take at the end of the show here. So thanks so much for being short and sweet and asking a great question, something that I wish I could give you a hard and satisfactory answer on, like hard line answer on, like, oh, yeah, this is when, and this is when you shouldn't. Like, I just don't know if that exists. I've been doing this for a couple years now, and I still haven't figured out exactly where it is. Like, it's kind of a I know it when I see it sort of thing, you know? The sad truth is people don't change their mind as soon as they encounter evidence to the contrary. It does take time. So you have to take that into consideration too.